I'm Ben, the founder of Beneos Battlemaps and Beneos Tokens, Spells and Items. In this short video, I'll explain everything you need to know about Beneos Battlemaps to quickly enhance your own game with Beneos content. We are a German indie publisher of digital tabletop RPG content and produce high-quality animated battle maps, sceneries, intro sequences, player handouts and so much more. You can reach us on Patreon or our webshop at beneosbattlemaps.com. This video is a starting point for both interested parties and active patrons alike and covers set up Foundry VTT, download content manually, download content with Moulinette, install webshop content, the Beneos search engine, Foundry VTT DM Controls, Foundry VTT player navigation, and useful tips. Alright, let's get started with Setup Foundry VTT. The setup in Foundry VTT is super easy. Even if you're not familiar with Foundry, you can quickly present everything just like you've seen in the videos. Just follow this video and you'll be up and running in no time. We invest several hours into each release to prepare everything perfectly so you have it all fully prepared in your world in just a few seconds. First, you need to install the Beneos module. This can be done quickly directly from within Foundry. Start Foundry VTT and go to the Add-on Modules tab. Then click on Install Module. Search for Beneos module in the input field and install the module. You will see another window where Foundry asks you to install other modules as well. Confirm this to save yourself the manual installation. If you still want or need to install the modules manually for any reason, you can find the list in your download post on Patreon. And that's it. After all modules are installed, you can open your Foundry VTT world or just create a new one. Go into your world and activate the modules like any other. Through the game settings in the top right of the Foundry navigation bar, open Manage Modules. In the list of installed modules, simply select Beneos module and all other modules will be automatically selected with it. That's super convenient. And now everything is available to you. To download content, then let's move directly to the next chapter. Download Patreon content manually. For Beneos Battlemaps, we have set up two tiers, with the main difference being their intended use. The Tier 1 Just the Files tier is designed for playing in person at the table. The video files are in MP4 format and can be played with all common video players on a TV, monitor or projector directly at your table. Our more popular tier is Tier 2 All-Inclusive Virtual Tabletop and Foundry Ready, which includes everything, even Foundry VTT integration with all the cool features that convinced you to support us on Patreon or our shop in the first place. This tier is not only for Foundry, but makes sense for all VTTs, whether you use them offline at the table or online over the internet. Here, all video files are in the much smaller and streamable WebM format, which is much more optimized. All posts on Patreon are public and visible to everyone. Only the two Patreon download posts for Tier 1 and Tier 2 are for active patrons. There you will find the current regularly changing download link for the Beneos files for each tier. You can access your Patreon download post via the direct link in each release post or through the collection feature on Patreon. There, in the download list, you will find the posts you are looking for. In the download post, you will find a password-protected download link, where you can download content anytime. By the way, the Tier 2 also has a download link. You actually never need it because you download everything comfortably via Moulinette. But if you want to back up the source data locally, you can do it there. The other much more comfortable download option is the following. Download content with Moulinette. To install entire releases through Moulinette comfortably and save a lot of time, follow these steps. Open the Moulinette function using the new symbol, the hammer, at the bottom of your toolbar on the left side in Foundry. First, you need to tell Moulinette that you are a Beneos Battlemaps patron, which you do via the Patron button. Then select Sign in with Patron and a new browser window opens. Log in with your Patron account and confirm with Allow that Moulinette can check if you, in fact, are a Beneos Battlemaps patron. After that, you are ready to start. Normally, you only need to log in every few days, so you don't get kicked out every 20 minutes, which is very convenient. Now, just choose what you want. Everything, individual maps, entire releases. Go to Moulinette scenes via the hammer icon and a new window opens. Here you can search directly by text if you already know what you want. Or simply select Beneos Battlemaps and you will see everything available. Or select a release additionally and see everything in that release. The freest and most intuitive way to find a map is our Beneos search engine. Open our custom search function via the Search Beneos Database button in the Actors tab in the top right navigation bar. Choose Battlemaps and filter by biome, size or type in search words directly. When you hover over the icon with the mouse, you see the Battlemap and scenery in large view to decide if that is what you are looking for. And when you find a map you like, eventually click the download button. More info on that later in the video. However you find a map, you will ultimately be directed to the Moulinette page in Foundry, where you can download either the map individually or the complete pack to which the map belongs. Please wait until the download is complete. Alright, this brings us to the next point already. Install webshop content. Downloaded content can not only be acquired via Moulinette or Patron, but also directly as a zip file on your computer. This way you do not need the internet and, more importantly, you get the same complete integration with navigation, pre-placed handouts, world maps as if you had downloaded it via Moulinette. Through our webshop at beneosbattlemaps.com, we offer map and token packs for download. To install these zip file archives, make sure the Beneos module and all dependencies are installed and activated in your Foundry world. Go to Configure Settings in the top right Settings tab of the Foundry navigation bar, then to the Library Scene Packer tab. Use the Open Importer Wizard button to open the installation window. Open the File Explorer and select the zip file you want to install. Click Submit to start the installation process. Please wait until you get the completion message. The zip file itself is no longer needed afterwards and can be deleted or archived. If you buy content via our webshop, please register as a user with an email address. This way you can always download your purchased contents again without limits, and you will also be notified if a release has been updated and you can download it again. We won't spam you, promise. Now that content is completely covered, let's talk about usage, starting with Beneos Search Engine. The Beneos Search Engine searches through everything Beneos has ever published, not just Battlemaps, but also tokens, spells and items. Everything in one interface. Via the Actors tab at the top right of your navigation bar, you can open the search engine with Search Beneos Database. In the Tokens tab, you will find all published tokens from Beneos Token Spells and Items, our second patron. In Items, you find our specially designed magic items for your group, and under Spells, all our homemade and tested spells. In the top right, you can see whether tokens, spells or items are installed. If you're just a Beneos Battlemaps supporter, you don't have to worry about this, but if you find a cool spell, item or token that interests you, you know where to find it. In the Maps tab, you can search through all our thousands of maps and sceneries. Use the biome filter to select a location that interests you and see all the results. With the other biome filter, you can combine tags. For example, all camps in the forest or temples in the dungeon. Brightness and map sizes are self-explanatory. When you find a map you like, you can download it directly in Moulinette either individually or the entire pack. The search engine is also accessible over the internet. There you can search from anywhere for maps, tokens, spells and items for your next session. Just bookmark beneosdatabase.com. So, you've everything set up, the content downloaded, and what you can do with it I'll show you in the next chapter under Foundry VTT DM Controls. Beneos Battlemaps is focused on absolute simplicity, flexibility and quality. Once you've loaded a release or a map into your world with Moulinette, you and your players can freely explore it. The DM controls the map differently than players. Here is all the information on how you as a dungeon master, game mother or whatever your favorite system calls you work with the maps. Almost everything works for the DM via journals. That's how they navigate and control. By default, journals on your map are invisible. To make them visible, first go to the journal nodes icon on the left toolbar and activate the journal icons with a toggle nodes display. Now all icons are active. The navigation bar under the maps and sceneries is for the DM only, and you can move around freely. Right-click on an icon and you get various options. View Scene takes you as a DM to the scene of the journal you've clicked, leaving your players in their place. Activate Scene pulls you and all connected players to the target map. In all releases, the symbols are the same depending on whether you are on a battle map scene, a scenery scene, an intro scene or an overview scene. You can always see where you are at the description text in the top right. A battle map always has this navigation. The first map icon always takes you to the overview scene of the release. A release usually consists of several maps and always has an overview scene from which you can navigate to all other maps in the release. The second map icon takes you to the regional map. This is the kingdom, land or area in the world where the release is located. For example, it takes you to the Barovia world map or the Westmark map in Escalia if the map is located there. Remember that you must have installed the Escalia world map to be brought there, of course. The world map icon always takes you to the continent page of the Escalia world map. From there, you can switch to all available continents and then to the realms and lands. Remember, you must have installed the Escalia world map for this too. The picture icon always takes you to the scenery of the battle map. The eye icon shows all handouts available for this map. If you double-click on an eye icon, the journal with the handout image opens. If you want to share it with your players, click on Show Players. The question mark always takes you to our Beneos documentation journal, where you can read everything again. You will also find detailed deep dives into all modules used and a FAQ for troubleshooting, as well as all important links. The compass helps you keep an overview on every scene and battle map. This is practical if several maps are spread over one area. On Battlemaps itself, few journals are distributed for the sake of clarity. Only the really necessary ones. The large door icon is also a DM teleporter and always takes you to another map, namely the map that lies in the direction from the map where the journal is placed. If it's on the left edge, the DM knows the next map is there in that direction. This helps understand the layout and division of the entire release. The small door symbol is for the players, which we will cover in the next chapter. Sceneries have the same icons, but instead of the picture icon for the scenery link, there are crossed swords here, which take you back from the scenery to the battle map. Every map is connected to its scenery and every scenery to its map. Sceneries also don't have handouts, those are only on the battle map. Overview scenes don't have a link to the overview scene, because yes, they are already it. Instead, there's the video icon with up to 2 links to intro sequences. Following this takes you to the intro sequence scene. Also on overview scenes, you will find the scroll icon where you as DM can write down notes or read the official lore. On an intro sequence page, you will find only one new icon, the play button. You can only click it if you are in the actor mode in the top left with the topmost tool selected. When you click on the play button, the video will start and play simultaneously for all connected players. If you click again, the video will reset and stop for all players. If the button doesn't respond, make sure you have all modules activated as described earlier. The Beneos module has another handy feature if you or your players are having trouble with the quality of the map. The downside of an animated video file is that no matter how small and optimized we make it, it's often larger than a static image. For most people this isn't an issue since we're used to watching videos on our laptops over the internet. But if there are problems, you can transform any Beneos Battlemap or scenery into a static image. You won't have an animated map, but even with weak internet connection or computers, the player can still be part of the story. Just right-click on a Beneos map either at the top in the top map bar or directly in the scene browser on the left navigation bar and choose Use Static Map. To revert it, just choose Use Animated Map. Let's talk about sound. Each map has various sound sources placed to create an immersive soundscape. It's important to note that each player and DM can only control their own sound. Everyone must click on the Playlist tab at the top right of the navigation bar and then has 3 sliders to choose from. The Playlist slider adjusts the volume for music the DM plays in Foundry. The Ambience slider adjusts the volume for the map ambient sounds, intro sequences and sound effects. The Interface slider adjusts the volume of door sounds on the map. So if you have loud banging door sounds, lower them there. And that covers the DM control options. For more in-depth information, you will find our FAQ and deep dives into the modules used in the Beneos documentation in your journals as soon as you've installed your first map via Moulinette. With the DM part covered, let's move on to Foundry VTT Player Navigation. For all players, navigation through connected maps offers a very cool experience. If the story requires it, players can independently move from map to map, creating a seamless adventure. Players intentionally have very few interface elements to minimize disruption to immersion. Because they don't see the DM's journal icons, because they don't have permission for those journals. By default, all players only have view rights for one journal, the one they use to exit maps. At exit points on maps, there's always a rectangular drawing on the ground. We've placed a teleportation area journal there, which players are allowed to see. When players walk their token to an exit point, they will see a door symbol indicating they can leave the map there. This is super simple. If players stand in a teleportation area with a token and click on any journal, all tokens in the teleportation area are teleported to another area with the same ID. Again, many words for a simple workflow. There's also a teleportation journal icon that players can't see. The one with the crossed out eye. It has the same function as the small door, except only the DM can start the teleportation. This is used for doors, stairs, holes in the walls, etc. Things that players haven't discovered yet and should not know about. Click on the symbol as a DM to teleport players when they are allowed to proceed in your eyes. To learn more, read the deep dive on the multi-level token module in our documentation. One last point. Players will notice their camera movement is restricted on maps and sceneries. This feature achieved using the Lock View module serves 2 main purposes. First, it enhances immersion. When players can't click and zoom widely, they focus more on the actual gameplay. Second, it prevents players from seeing the DM's navigation bar under the map. If you as a DM are also restricted, this is an issue with Lock View and you can adjust this for yourself or your players in the Lock View settings. Go to Game Settings and then Configure Settings. In the Lock View tab under User Configuration, you can individually toggle Enable for players. I'm personally a huge fan of this feature, but in the end, it is all a matter of personal taste. Alright, we've set everything up, installed all modules and download content. Our players can move freely and we know how everything works. Now we move to the end with Update Maps. This is a short chapter. Once downloaded, Maps are not automatically updated. If there's a new version of something, you will need to download it again manually. But for that to work, you must first delete the scenes and their related journals. Moulinette will never overwrite anything in your world as a safety measure. So you need to do some cleanup first. It rarely happens, but I wanted to mention it just in case. FoundryVTT Updates. FoundryVTT is fortunate to have a strong and diligent development team. Smaller releases that change a decimal place in the release version can usually be installed without problems. However, when a major release comes out and the front number of the version changes, 8.0, 9.0, 10.0, we strongly advise against updating immediately. Typically, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for all modules to be updated to the new version. The Beneos module also needs to be adjusted during this time. Depending on the extent of the Foundry VTT changes, this can take some time. So, what should you do? Wait for our green light. That's the best advice I can give. Wait to update Foundry until we have updated and tested all modules. Otherwise, you might end up with non-functioning module in a broken world, which we want to avoid. And that brings us to troubleshooting and FAQ. We've compiled a collection of frequently asked questions and best practices in our Beneos documentation. You will find it in your Journal Explorer after installing a map from Moulinette or the webshop. There you will find lots of information and a link to our Discord for quick and direct help. And that was the setup video, and we've learned how to set up Foundry, install content from Moulinette or with zip files from our webshop, how the DM can use the many cool functions, and how players can move from map to map. I, Ben, wish you and your players a lot of fun in your sessions, and I hope your players will love the content as much as mine do, and you will bring your game to life.